check this. And we should be live now. I'm just checking this. Yay, we are streaming live on Facebook. So happy New Year, everyone.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Oh, fantastic. And it seems like I don't have an echo, which I'm so super happy about. Are you well as well, Lynn? I'm just checking this. Yeah. Oh, okay, so I do have an echo, happy but about. Never mind. Are you well as well? I will manage. I will manage. So happy New Year again, and thank you so much for joining us in spite of the fact that you might still be dealing with a hangover. Who knows? But that would be just a show that you had a great time last night. So again, very happy New Year and very, very warm welcome to my guest today, all the way from US is joining me, my sweetheart, Linda Russell. Linda, welcome, welcome, welcome. I will just introduce you briefly. So Linda is this, I tell you who is Linda for me, okay? Linda for me is like adopted, can I say this? Adopted grandmother from America, who is one of those people who I am always kind of looking up to, thinking, okay, when I grow up, I want to be this lady. And I just couldn't think of any better treat for first day of the year 2022 than actual interview with Linda. So thank you so much. And in terms of her introduction, well, she gave me, there is a lot to say about Linda. Obviously, she's been around for a while. But I would say, well, she's just curious. She describes herself as a curious person who loves to explore and contribute by learning and teaching, letting the God's light shine through her brokenness with humor and kindness into her world. And she's a huge contribution to many. So let me just welcome you, Lynn, and thank you, thank you, thank you for your time and everything who you are for all of us. I appreciate it so much.
Thank you, Lucia. When I met you at that class we took from Landmark at the beginning of December, it was like a ray of light came into my life too. We had such a connection, and you shared a little bit about your dad, and I just was like right there with you and your dad, and I just loved meeting you. I really like having fun with life. I remember back when I was like 50 years old, I went to the psychologist and they said, I want to learn how to have fun, because I don't think I knew how to have fun. So now I have a lot more fun, especially when I meet people like yourself, helping ladies and men have children. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Lynn. And for those of you who don't know me, my name is Lucia Hoxa. I'm a fertility coach, supporting women all over the world in having their babies. So, I think I'm doing something precious. It's been 20 years I've been around and, supporting women and supporting specifically women in what is really truly important to them. And last 4 years I've been supporting ladies on their journey towards motherhood. So that's a little bit about me. And now, very importantly, let's share about what we are going to talk about. So we named it Inquiry into New Year, New You. But really what we are going to be talking about here today is hopefully going to be very juicy. It's going to be fun. It's going to be very valuable for all of you. And yeah, we would love it to be interactive as well. So please send us your comments, let us know, send us a little like, a little smiley face, whatever, let's have a fun. This is the first day of the year. And in my culture, in my country, we say, as you live your first day, you live the rest of the day. So we better laugh a lot, right? and have a great time. So Lynn, I'm going to ask you a lot of questions, and I tell you why. Because ever since I was a little child, I always love to be around people who inspire me, and especially older people who've been around. Yeah. And first time I met you, I must admit, the most wonderful thing was that obviously you've been around, so your face is so beautifully wrinkled, and I always think when the older persons got happy wrinkles on their face, they must done something right in their life, and you do have that. And also, you, in spite of your age and whatever, I think you feel comfortable to share it because you look amazing for your age.
Really? Yeah, no, I'm 77, so I'm going to have a big Zoom party tomorrow night. So,
Is it your birthday tomorrow?
my birthday's Monday, January 3rd. And actually, because a lot of my friends are in Australia, when we have this party, 5 to 7 Pacific and 8 to 10 Eastern time, it's going to actually be Monday, January 3rd in Australia already. So my friends in Australia will be celebrating my birthday on the correct day.
Oh, well, we have to sing you a little song before we finish our stream.
Oh, yes,
today,
well,
because I didn't even have an idea. But very, very happy that you found the time for us in these busy birthday preparations times as well. And what I want to say, yes, let's just like start, because I've got so many questions, and I know whatever you say, it will be valuable, because one of the things that inspired me the most about you is that in spite of your age, you're in such a genuinely good spirits. You've got such a beautiful energy and positive mind that you don't have to fake it or try to be positive. You just are this person who is shining the light. And let's face it, everyone's life's got challenges, right?
oh,
And
yeah.
no doubt you had quite few, right? So first of all, I want to ask you about what probably people who are watching would ask: what is your secret?
There's so many things, but one of the things I want everyone to know is that all of my life I have not been positive. Probably like the first 40 years, I always kept trying to be better and better and better. I didn't ever think I was good enough. Now, that's not the truth. I was always good enough. I just didn't realize it, and I made up the story that I was not. And after I turned 40, I started looking at people around me, and most of them weren't having a lot of fun either. The ones that were having fun weren't so worried about what everybody thought of them. So it's like I learned a lot of different things. I went to Toastmasters. I learned how to speak and how to lead. I didn't come to believe in Jesus until I was 33. And that has helped me. And Landmark has helped tremendously to understand we're all good, bad, mixed all together. But ultimately, we're really good, and we all want to be good. And so where there's broken places, God can shine his light through that to everyone else. And we don't need to hide the broken stuff. It's like, oh, yep, that's me. No, I said that. Oh, I'm so sorry. I did not mean to say that. I was angry. I was hurt. I was whatever. So it's like learning to be with who you are and who you aren't. And it takes time. It takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of good friends like yourself, Lucia.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. Well, today we will be talking a little bit about relationships, because relationships in general takes a big part of our life, right? And actual happiness, our happiness, and the way we relate to people, the way we allow them to love us and be open enough for love and contribution towards them, that's a big part of happiness. And we are talking about new life, new us. So let's just start there, because I want to hear about what was your life experience with men like. So if I ask you, because that's a big question, so let me specify, if I ask you, when I say the word men, what comes to your mind first?
Oh my goodness.
Who are men? What they are like in your world?
There are a lot more women in my world than men. Of course, I think our first experience with men is our father. And my father loved me and he threw me up in the air when I was little, but he was also very strict. And I just, I'm not quite sure. It seems like then when I was younger, growing up, I played baseball with the boys. We had an empty lot and we would play baseball together. And that was fun. And I guess I thought of boys as being a lot like girls, but they just did different things. I think men are different than women in how they look at the world and how they process it in relationships. And I've read a lot of books to try to learn about it. What do you think about men? I know if you ask my daughter, I've been married and divorced 3 times. So I would say this is an area where a little bit I'm broken. And I would say probably I'm not able to receive love. That's what I'm working on, is learning how to receive it. I kind of feel like sometimes I can give it, but how do we do it a mutual? Because I think with a relationship, it's important to be back and forth and very mutual. What have you noticed with men?
Well, on your question, it depends whether my husband is watching or not. What can I say?
Well, don't say anything because he might watch it later.
No, I'm joking. I'm so transparent with my husband. But it's very, very interesting question, and I would love you guys to comment. So,
Yeah.
ladies, whoever is watching, the word man, what comes to your mind first? Yeah, because what is coming to me is strength, is they're sexy. Yeah, they can be.
Yeah. They can be.
Someone who is going to fix my wash machine if I need it.
Mhm.
Is also so the good things are coming up.
Yeah.
But also and kind of men can be my dad, you've been talking about your dad. My dad, I was actually writing something today, is still this day my greatest hero. So men definitely are my heroes. However, not all of men are the same, of course, same as not all of us women are the same. And what is interesting is that a lot of things that I had written in because I also been divorced once, but just once, I still have a time to catch up with you, but hopefully let's not go there.
No, you won't need to. Thank you.
Very happy now. We are joking. Come on, this is New Year's. But what I wanted to say is that thanks to my development and education, and very similar to you, Lynn, I keep on looking at, things, how I can become a better human being every day. And I hopefully I'm doing, hopefully I'm growing, because that's what I like. But in the past, the truth is, if I'm very honest, is that I inherited certain ways to think about men from generations before me. Yeah.
Sure.
From things that my mom used to say. And one of the things that I discovered that didn't serve me that well, because there are things that our parents do that are actually great, and we learn very, very useful things that benefit our lives, but there are some of the things that maybe are the ones that we got, and they are not so helpful in our relationships. And one of those was, and please let me know if anyone relates, when my mom used to say, bless her, that men are lazy, selfish, and what else? Useless. Yes,
Oh,
and she had no reason for that because my father was amazing. But you know, like she didn't say that to harm or destroy my life, bless her.
no.
But you can imagine there was
Yeah.
me, 21, getting married, having this reality about men entering the marriage. Well, how do you think it went?
Right. And then
Yeah,
maybe she got it from her mother and her grandmother.
exactly.
And maybe it was never true for her either.
Exactly. But you know, and I believe that having this kind of view on man is no right or wrong, and we will be talking a little bit about that later
Right.
as well. Um, and is no reality, of course, but
No,
it's
it's not the
something.
truth.
Exactly, and it's something that has started probably with a great amount of pain. And so, you know, I have a lot of compassion for this. And at the same time, I'm really, really glad I gained awareness about this to the degree that I was able to work with it, discover it, work with it inside me, and then find my own truth and transform it in such a way that actually my relationships towards men transformed. And it's amazing. I just say very quickly, when this process helped, I used to teach yoga in London.
Oh,
And on my classes, and normally on yoga classes, it's normal to have at least 80-90% of women and maybe a couple of men, maybe. And amazingly, when my energy shifted about men, it was like miracle. I had almost 45% of men showing up on my classes, and I just couldn't believe it. And it's not like I've done any advertisement or anything, but it's just simply my energy has changed. So my heart was so wide open that somehow I attracted these men. It is amazing what happens in life when we shift and open our hearts.
Yes, yes. Well, that's what I'm exactly working on this year.
Yeah. So let's have a look, because one of your passions, Lynn, is you are saying playing a fun game of shifting the right, wrong, good, and bad. Can you please tell us a little bit more in terms of how it can connect with relationships between men and women? How we can use this?
I got that. Well, usually when a human being, whether it's a man or a woman, goes anywhere, and you walk into a room with other people, or you're driving down the street in a car or something, you're noticing things in terms of right, wrong, good, bad. Like, oh, look at the way that person's driving. Oh, look, that person has a phone in their hand. That's against the law. We notice the right, wrong, good, bad. And that's fine, except it's not helpful. It's like saying men are lazy and men are useless. Now, certainly all men at one time or another in their life might act lazy, and all women might act lazy at one time in their life, especially over the last 2 weeks. You work so hard, you then get lazy for some time. So the idea, though, is to shift that. And instead of looking at it as right, wrong, good, bad, you say, look, wait a minute, is that workable or is that not workable? And the thing that happens there is you remove the morality. Not that there isn't morality. I'm not saying, you're just setting it aside for that moment, for that period of time, and it's workable or not workable. Then you can actually, if you're in a relationship with a person and you're trying to have a conversation, instead of starting from the right, wrong, good, bad, you're starting from, it's just not workable. For whatever reason, I don't understand. It bothers me, kind of thing. So then it's not so much that the other person is wrong, but it's that whatever you're doing in that relationship is not working. And you certainly want it to work for both of you. So the idea is to try to find a way, how could we shift this? Could we?
But when
And
you, Lynn, sorry, I just pause you there. When you are talking about workable and not workable, do you mean, like, with other words, how we can describe this is whether it serves us or not, that way of
yes,
being or thinking, yeah?
at that moment, yes.
Whether it makes
Yes.
sense, whether it
Yeah.
benefits us.
And in some way, it's a judgment still. I'm not saying all judgment is going to, we're humans, but we've taken out that that's wrong, that's bad. As soon as somebody tells you you're wrong or bad, it's like, oh yeah? And you can hardly hear what they say anymore. But if maybe for some reason, it's either, this part of what you said really works well, but this other part, I don't know why, but I'm like, ooh, I don't like it. What's going on here? And then ask them, because who knows? A good example for me is if you're meeting somebody and you're going to go to lunch, if you're going to meet them at the restaurant and they're a half an hour late and you're on time, that's not real workable. Now, usually you'd go right, wrong, good, bad on that one. Well, that was terrible. But what might work is if instead of meeting me at the restaurant, I'll wait for you at my house, you pick me up and we'll go to the restaurant together. And then if the person's a half an hour late, at least it's more workable. You're able to get things done at home.
Yeah.
And I think that could work with men and women too. There's something evidently and that's my idea. And I think I got it out of an integrity course in Landmark, I think.
Yeah, yeah. And, I completely agree. And, what I love about your philosophy that I'm really aligning with is we are, as a human beings, we are so easy to judge, right? All of us, including me. We do that
absolutely.
as a hobby.
That's
right?
human.
Yeah. And we do it as a default, right? We are walking down the street and we're comparing, we are judging. And, as women, I can talk for women or for myself, we judge and compare with other women, right? From the size of your boobs, from the hair, haircut,
Yeah.
and then we are trying to be better. And when we are better, we are like, whew, that's good news. And when we are not, it's like, oh God. And that's what we do as a default, right? And the same way, we are also judging kind of right and wrong, good and bad. And it starts very naturally, in our childhood, because already as a 2-year-old, 1-year-old, we are already being told, don't touch that, stop that, don't be quiet. We get all these signals from our parents to realize and it's very healthy, right, to differentiate between right and wrong.
Yeah, we want to keep our children safe.
Oh yeah.
We don't want them going in the road and getting hit by a car or anything like that. So
absolutely. So to a certain degree is definitely serving us, and as you say, like, it's keeping us safe, and probably thanks to this distinction we are still alive, all of us as a humanity, right? But there is a point where this judgment is no longer, as I would say, serving us anymore. When this judgment is there and it's in a way in our relationships, and I would say that's when we start building the walls between us.
Yes, there's a wall. That's exactly right.
Can you say a little bit about that, and maybe your experience about how we can, what we can do so the walls between men and women are not so, how we can work through this together?
For me, that's where and it took me 3 years to come up with this little promise for the world of playing a fun game. And that's an important part of it. If you can't make this a fun game, it's just not going to work. Because when you look at your kids and when they play in that's when they learn the most, is when they're playing. And we as human beings learn the most then. And that's how an old person, like let's say Betty White, who just passed away a day or two ago, how she stayed so young, and she was ready to turn 100 in the middle of January because she made things fun. And so I'm thinking and this is just a simple default that we just fall right into, is a right, wrong, good, bad. And if we can look at that and try to take the morality out and just look at it as, well, this works or this doesn't work, it gives us a place to conversation and interrelate. We then can be doing that in a relationship. We can do it with children. We can do it with other men or women. We can do it with the opposite sex. I mean, and by making it a fun game, how can I take the morality out of this? Whatever the situation, you pick a situation where clearly people think there's a right, wrong, good, bad, and then you take that and you play a fun game with it. And I'm actually going to be doing some Zooms, one a month up until in May. In May at the Conference for Global Transformation, I'll be doing another one. They picked me to do a breakout sessions on this. So I'm excited about it because I really think this can be very individualized and it could be husbands and husbands and wives and wives. It doesn't have to be heterosexual.
Of course.
Couples. It could be homosexual couples. It's a relationship, and how do we make the relationship work? And we're all smart human beings. So, like one of my teachers used to say, you're a smart monkey, and it's a fun game to play. I don't know if you could think of some situation where you might say there's a right, wrong, good, bad. What might that be? And then have a conversation with your husband maybe, and say, well, could we set that aside for a minute and see, is there a way to make this workable, not workable? And if so, why is it working and why is it not working? And is there a way to shift that non-workable to workable?
Yeah.
And they only can do it by playing the game.
Yeah, playing the game, but I want to use the actual example, and if I may, I use something that was very real
Perfect.
to me.
Please.
Christmas
That's
Day.
the whole idea.
Yeah, let's make it real, because we can be let's talk real thing, and I will share. So yes, absolutely, let's make it playful, but let's face it, Lynn, sometimes, can you hear me okay?
I hear you fine.
Okay, good. So playfulness and bringing the playfulness into relationship, I'm all up for it. But the truth is, sometimes, well, a lot of times when we get into the argument with our partners, the last thing we think about is being playful, right?
That's right. Yes. No.
There is an anger.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
I call it dragon in me. Like, I am
And
like
probably hurt.
fire.
Under the anger, there's probably hurt too.
Yes, and I'm not saying we can't be playful about it, but first what I discovered, and I give you example, it was really it was a bit open as always, authentic. It was Christmas Day. And of course, me being me, I was, busy trying to get everything perfect as always. And, I was like really busy, and I have two little children running around, and husband, and my father, who's got last stages of Parkinson's. So it was a lot going on, cooking and cleaning and everything. And in one point I was on the top of it, I didn't sleep much, so I was exhausted. And I kept on blaming my husband. He's not helping me enough. Because remember, my reality about men being lazy and selfish
and useless.
It's always there. It's always there. It's just I'm learning how to deal with it, But this reality came up, and really when it's happening, it's almost like there is a trigger, and the trigger. What I found the trigger is that when I feel like somehow like in danger. It sounds weird, but when I feel like, imagine, and girls, let me know if you experience this ever. I'm quite sure I'm not alone in this. You know, when you feel like exhausted, tired, too much on your shoulders, you just don't know what to do first. And your man is just taking 15 minutes to have a cigarette and then comes back and he's like, oh, you know, I just switch on the channel. And I'm like, how is it possible? He's got so much time. It's like, come on, move your ass. So there I was, you know, being a complete dragon. And if I'm really honest with you, I was being an ass. So I was shouting at everyone, including my
I
poor
got
dad.
that.
Well, my poor dad, I didn't shout it on, but he had to be a witness of it. Anyway, long story short, the actual dinner came and everybody was like, I'm not even hungry anymore, thanks. And
Yeah.
I was like, oh God, what have I done? And that's when the guilt came in. Girls, have you ever been there? The guilt thing.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, oh my
Constantly.
God, I destroyed Christmas. My kids been crying. It was terrible.
Mm-hmm.
And to be honest, old Lucia, all I wanted to do is in this angry me, just go, sod this, I'm out of here. I don't care anymore. I destroyed everything. I hate myself. I need to remove, you know, I'm off. Christmas, no Christmas. And I really wanted to do it, guys. It would feel so good for a moment, but I didn't. Instead of that, and this was my first step, is that I removed myself from the situation. So what I did, I went on a balcony and I
Mm-hmm.
was breathing a lot. This cold air, minus 15 in my country. And, you know, and I was like, just like, okay, breathe it, breathe it, breathe it. So 5 minutes I was breathing there. And what I did, I just created a space.
Yes.
Yeah. I just created a space and I was doing, you know, what we are being trained in, Lynn, you know what I'm talking about, you know,
Right.
just accepting and allowing.
Allowing. Yes. Allowing. It is what it is. It's
It is
crazy.
what it is. Yeah, like damage is done. I can't reverse. I can't take it back. So what can I do from now? So I allowed, and I fairly quickly, I can't say I done 100% of forgiving myself for being an asshole, but I just kind of, you know, gave a little open doors to allowing and accepting not only situation but also myself and the damage I made. And
Yeah.
this allowing and forgiveness also, this
Absolutely.
allowing really gave me access to create something new. But first before I did that and create something new, second very important thing happened, and I was willing to give up something and
Aha.
give up being right about something. And when I really looked, and this happened in 5 minutes on balcony, when I really looked, I realized that is nothing to do with my husband being lazy. Is nothing
Yeah.
to do with my husband being selfish or whatever, which is what I was shouting at him. Is actually over here with me and my responsibility, because guess what? I didn't stop for 3 days.
And
And
you
I felt
probably
like a
never,
victim and sorry for myself. And I created this crazy story. So the
yeah,
moment when I saw it, I was like, okay, what I really need is self-love and compassion with myself right now. And when I allowed that to happen, I took another few breaths. I came back from the balcony. And then my husband said, listen, I need some time. And I said, okay, you go. So then he went out on the balcony and he had some breather. And I allowed that, of course. And then he came back and I went to warm up the food. And when I came back, I was shocked. Everybody was sitting at the table. Kids been sitting at the table. They stopped crying. And I was like, I was amazed because I was like, okay, God has forgiven me. This is amazing. I'm still being loved.
yeah,
And in that moment, there was a space to create something new. And in my country, we do a little speech for Christmas, and I still didn't feel like it would be authentic to do something la la la. So I just briefly said, listen, guys, something me and Linda, we do clearing, right? So I just said,
Yeah.
listen, guys, I really apologize. This is part of me. And I thought I destroyed Christmas. And this is not who I am, and obviously not who I want to be. And I'm sorry. And Daddy, we don't argue like this every day. This is like once in a half year when I blow up. So please don't worry. So I needed to, calm down my dad. And then, they very graciously actually they got that, and they didn't say anything, but I just said, how about let's just come back, and would you like to join me just being grateful for what really matters? So let's say, I'm just so happy we are here and still alive, Daddy, that you are with us and that we are healthy. So anyway, guys, long story short, I hope you get a little bit of flavor about my Christmas. And I want to say to you, from that moment on, our Christmas really started. And it was wonderful ever since. And next day I had a little more conversation, more clear up with my husband and with my dad, and we've been able to bring playfulness into it next day, and laugh about it and laugh about our crazy stuff and humanity. And it was just wonderful, and I want to share this because this is, I think, very good example of how things can go very, very wrong and then turn really beautifully. And we all have this capacity. It's just awareness is the way to go. And I dare to say that personal development, Lynn, what we are doing doesn't make us perfect, nowhere near. But it just gives us access, what you say, it gives us access to, for example, turn even these kind of situations and many others every day, daily life, right? We are talking about into something magical anyway.
Yes. Yes, I totally understand. And the playing a fun game, you could not have done it then. You both needed, and matter of fact, everybody, probably even the two little ones and your dad, needed a bit of clearing, a bit of, wow, what happened? What did I do? You don't even know. They might have made themselves really wrong, but like they did something wrong, which, what happened is you were overworked. You chose to be overworked accidentally. And so you need the clearing in the space. That's right. You couldn't then at that point say, oh, let's play a fun game to figure out what happened. No, absolutely. That clearing, that grounding, and then looking back. But if you then were to go and have a conversation with your husband about it now, while you're not in the middle of it and looking back, you might be able to find some ways of, like if you had actually asked some of the people for help, your husband, your dad, your two little kids. I know they're real little. Aren't they close to 2 or something? Yeah. I just enjoy watching them run around. Oh my goodness, all that energy. And because they really want to contribute something. I don't know what they could contribute, but they could. Something. Together, you guys could all figure that out. Probably all 4 or 5 of you together could. And even somebody just sitting down and not getting in the way, or playing with a toy and not getting in the way, that might be helpful in the situation. Maybe not doing quite as much might help. I don't know, but you can only do that outside of the situation, not in it. And it is like, no, absolutely.
And like we spoke about it with my husband afterwards, and I said to him, again, it's about being self-aware, right? And me as a woman, because we cannot change anyone else, we can only be responsible for whatever is going on over here. But then when we are, it shifts everything around us, right? So that's the
It really
magic
does.
magic that we co-create really with the universe and people around us, even energetically. And I'm just writing this course that is about relationships, and obviously
Yes.
women facing infertility. There is even more of a challenges
Oh,
in relationships. Okay, you can imagine, like, there is so complex. So I decided
I
to
can
write the
imagine.
whole course about it, and we are doing this free webinar, which I want to invite you guys. It's 12th and 13th of January. Um, and it's free, and it's 1 hour every day where you get so much value and so much knowledge. We will be talking about differences between men and women and how to
Yes.
communicate in such a way that that is landing on the other side, that we do feel like a one rather than two separate identities, you know, that feel
Mhm.
that they need to make sure they win over, you know, arguments. So you know, it's going to be very, very juicy, and I will be coming
Sounds
from a
wonderful.
little bit of science in terms of neuroscience. We will be talking about differences, the way our brain has been developed as differently as males and females. And it's just so interesting. As I'm writing this course, I really am thinking, I wish we learned about this as a children at school. I wish this is
I
being taught at school, because, you know, that would be, I think it would make so much difference in terms of our preparation for whatever relationships are ahead of us, you know.
yes.
So anyway, very warm welcome to that. Let me know. I will send a link with registration in the comments if you like. But what I wanted to say is that um, in terms of play and fun, Lynn, what we created with my husband is that I discovered my own pattern, that when I'm getting, you know, as a twin mom, I am running my business, and we are restructuring my business at the moment with my team. Is a lot, you know, it's a lot, like
It
sleepless
is.
nights and all that. A lot of people asking me like, how am I managing it? And I think it's just my passion in life. But the truth is, sometimes I do get really tired and really exhausted. And I discovered this pattern when that happens. Sometimes I get passionate about things, but I don't have a balance. My husband say I don't have a balance. I just get swamped by, you know, and I forget about a lot of things. Obviously not my children, but I forget about my own well-being. And when I do
Yes.
that, I and it's all inside of passion, but then it gets to the point where you're so tired you can't even be passionate about, and it becomes burden, right? And then I get into this space, what I call like victim, where I blame other people for
Sure.
you know, me being in a state of craziness basically. And when I discovered this pattern that I'm prone to repeat over and over again, and just pure awareness of it, first of all with myself, and then sharing it with my husband and saying, hey sweetheart, listen, I'm doing this and it's really destructive, and I really see it towards me and towards you and towards, you know, kids not so much because I'm able to hide it, but you know, they energetically probably feel it as well. So I said, listen, this is the pattern. When you see me starting doing this, yeah, starting like skipping the meals, or, you know, there are certain signs that we do, right?
Hmm.
Lynn is nodding. I love it.
Yeah.
You know, please, can you just be a partner for
Hmm.
me and just catch me? Because when I'm in this drive, I'm like fast running choo-choo train, and there is no one stopping me. This is the drive I have, and it can be fantastic, and I create wonderful things. But at the same time, you know, when it's no balance, it can be destructive. So I asked my husband for partnership, and you know, to actually give me some kind of sign, or, you know, have say, baby, you're doing it again, or, you know, some kind of sign where I can, before it gets to that place,
Hmm.
I'm able to recognize it earlier. And I think this is wonderful, because this is how good partnerships and relationships works, right? Is when we allow each other to get to have that level of honesty and awareness, and allow each other to be supported on this level as well. And we can make it fun, you know. He can
We can.
I actually asked him to play me certain music, which is like,
Oh, I like that.
and it's good. And that is my sign where I get a message, and it doesn't have to be significant, or it can be actually very playful. It's like, okay, thank you.
It could, he might also something like, well, is it time to take a break on the balcony and go out there and breathe?
Yeah. Would you like to breathe some?
Yeah, that's right. Here, we have this nice balcony. Why don't you? And maybe hand you a glass of wine. I don't know what, or an ice cream cone, or whatever would be nice to eat. The other thing that I hear, and I know a lot of people have this, is sleeping. And they think like, oh, I can get by with less sleep. And maybe you can, especially the younger you are, the more you can get away with it. But I've been reading a book about food, the food we eat, and the cells, our cells, and how they work. And I learned, and I almost fell over, and I thought, why don't they teach this in school? That at night when we sleep is when the garbage men go around to all our cells. I totally didn't. We eat food, the food gives energy. Our cells use that energy during the day to keep us moving and doing all this stuff we're doing. Well, we actually pile up garbage in a corner of our cell, just like you have garbage cans around your house that you throw the garbage in. Well, at night when you sleep, there's like these little garbage men that go around to every cell, and they pick up the garbage and they take it off. They take it to your liver and your kidneys. It's like, that's why you sleep every night. And so the garbage men have time to go get the garbage and clean it up, so you're ready for the next day. And I think they've shown that it's actually as bad as being drunk if you're real tired, like driving a car or something. And I know we don't realize that. We think we can just keep ourselves going. So
yeah, and it's very misleading. And I know a lot of my friends and ladies who are watching, we all have this what seems like abundance of energy, right? And especially I know love for me is a driving force. And the results of my clients, and I get almost high on it, because the more feedback, great feedback and thank yous and love you get from them, the more energy you have to create and co-create. And it's fantastic. But like sometimes I have, this is my pitfall, right? So I'm learning, I'm learning, Lynn, and everyone, and it's amazing, because all the discoveries that we have, they only happen in conversation.
yes, out
They
here.
all happen in dialogue. And this is a wonderful thing, and is one of the reasons why I love doing these live streamings in the dialogue and in these interviews. It's not even interviews, it's like discussion, really. Yeah. Because there is so much juiciness, and I know, like, feedback from people I get is like, oh my God, it was so amazing to watch you. It's like you've been in my lounge. It's like you are reading my thoughts, or my questions, like you asked. It was exactly what I wanted to say. So it's wonderful, because we are all connected. We fundamentally, men, women, we are all really the same. I mean, all we really, really want underneath all those things is to be safe, to be loved, to be accepted, and that's it, to be happy, whatever happiness means for us. So, Lynn, this is about new year, new us. Well, let's say it's not really new us, new year. Well, it's new year, but it's not new us, because what I want to say is that let's just start with us being whole and complete as we are. So
we're perfect the way we are, but that doesn't mean that we might want more.
Yes.
Or something a little different.
Yes. And I always like to say, even to my people that I coach, is that you are whole and complete just the way you are, and just the way you are not. And let's have a look what else is possible.
Yes.
And that's really, whether I'm talking about life, whether I'm talking about myself and my own development, that's the kind of, that's what I like to bring into my everyday life, that inquiry,
Yes.
Like, I wonder what else is possible. I wonder what is able, when we face difficulty in life, and a lot of people are watching, they might even have something they're dealing right now, and they are kind of, they can't, let it go from their head. So wherever you are, guys, whatever you are dealing with, I am a big fan of, and I applied it so many times in my life, in my short life compared to you, Lynn. But I did already, and I applied it in so many ways, because I looked at every challenge as, okay, not straight away. Sometimes it's like very daunting, so you can't do it straight away. But in one point, when I had big difficulty in my life, I like to look at it like, breathe, and then have a look, what is the learning here, and how I can turn it around in a way that is going to serve me, my future,
Yes.
and also all those people I'm going to meet and contribute to. And this is how I love to look at my life. So, question on you, Lynn, is, can you share maybe one example from your life where you had a huge challenge and you've been able to turn it around in such a way that really impacted the rest of your life? I'm sorry I didn't give you this question before the interview, so you're on the spot again. But I give you a little time for that.
I'm just trying to think of a time, and I'm thinking even probably maybe before I took the Landmark Forum, my daughter and I happened to have my daughter when I was 18 years old. And that actually was a tough situation, because I got pregnant before I got married, which it's kind of like, I almost don't like to share that, because so many people today seem to have difficulty getting pregnant. And but then, as we're about 18 years apart, or actually more like 19, because I turned 19 a month after I had her. And there was a point at which she needed to go away, because the way I was raised and everything was right, wrong, good, bad. And I was always trying to be right and good. And the problem with that is you can never be 100% right and 100% good. It's not human, not if you want to be human, and we all are human. So she kept inviting me to come to an introduction to the Landmark Forum, and I went to that, and I learned that we get to choose how we look at what's happening. In other words, there's something in our life that happens, and this is what happens. But every time something happens, we like layer all this meaning on top of it. What does it mean? And when we put all the meaning on it, it's really not the truth. It's like just something we made up. And we actually do get to choose. And we can actually, once we see that, oh, I had no idea I was choosing that. We thought that's the way it was. And we thought all that meaning was, and maybe it's from the culture we were raised in. Maybe it's the part of the United States. If you live in New York, you have one culture. If you live in California, there's another. If you're in one place in Europe, there's one, and another place in Europe, there's another. Your background, your family background, your ancestors. There's so many things that there's just, well, when this happens, it automatically means that, except that maybe it doesn't. And by taking the Landmark Forum and then continuing with different Landmark courses, I really saw, and that's why I ended up with this promise, is because I saw how everything was right, wrong, good, bad. I saw everything in my life was black and white, very little shades of gray. And that made it hard for me to live, made it much harder for me to live. I didn't realize how hard I was making things for myself. And I didn't realize how hard I was making it for all of my friends to be and spend time with me. Because when you're with somebody that they're always looking for the right, wrong, good, bad, it's like, it's tiring. That's a tiring way to live, and you don't realize it. You think that's the way it is, when that's not it. You're actually putting that meaning on it. So this is just a way of starting to look at it, and with conversations with friends and conversations with family. So, and I figure everybody's got to start somewhere, and I feel like this has been my starting point, like your starting point was going through all the difficulty you had to go through to have your two twins. And now you're able to take that, which was a really difficult time. I mean, and then you're able to now make a contribution because you can understand what people go through. And I now can understand all those right, wrong, good, bad people and help them when they get to the point where they want help. Most of the time we don't want any help.
Of course, and it's perfect, look, because there is always a right time, right? Like the time when I look back, I needed several nudges, right? I wasn't ready. I remember it was actually my best friend who got me this coaching session, and I couldn't get myself to book into the first thing, and it took me so long time. And then on my birthday, my best friend said, listen, if you're not going to buy it, I'm going to buy it for you. And so I did go, and it was the most extraordinary a couple hours of my life, where for the first time I was like, I think I was about 21 or 22, and for the first time I was able to look at my life and reflect, and just and somebody was asking me questions so fresh and so new. I never even been thinking about it ever before. My values, my beliefs, who I am. Like I didn't know, like I didn't even know what a pizza I like. Never mind who I like. So this is so wonderful. We are having this conversation, and talking about right and wrong. I just recently, I'm so sorry, I can't say it exactly the story, but there was how something happens in life, Lynn, and this is a bad thing that happened, and this is a good thing, and we've got real distinction about it, like what is good and what is bad, what happens to us in life, right? You earn money, that's good thing. You break up in relationship, that's bad thing. And there was this meditation I recently done where there's this beautiful story, and I can't say all of it, but there was something about, the man had like wild horses that came to his garden, and, he tamed them. And the neighbor said, oh, wow, this is, this is so lucky. You are so lucky that these wild horses came to you and you tamed them and you have them for free, and you're a very lucky man. And he said, maybe. And then one of his sons sat on this one of these horses, and suddenly one of these horses went completely wild, and his son broke his leg. And the neighbor said, oh my God, that's really, really terrible thing that happened to you. That is really terrible. And the father said, maybe. And then a couple months later, because this injury was not good, but there was a time where they've been drafting men to go to fight in a war, Second World War. His son was not drafted because he had this injury. So neighbor again reacted like, wow, that's very, very lucky. Your son doesn't have to go to war. So you're such a lucky man. And again, that father said, well, maybe. Yeah. And I can go and on, but you get the point, guys, right? Yeah. So, and we are finishing soon, but what I want to say, like a little message towards the new year, is that perhaps things that happen in our lives,
that's right,
we see certain way, but I would like all of us to maybe allow to at least open and look that it might not be black and white. And even people we meet, they might not be good or bad. There is just a story that we don't know, and maybe we don't understand in that moment. But I dare to say, and I always say, maybe if we do know the full story of the person who we are in disagreement with or having a challenge with, maybe we would, as many times happen in my life, become even more human, because we would suddenly understand why they react the way they react, why they are so angry, why they, are being triggered by something what we said, I mean, all these things. So I absolutely love personal development, because it really gives us different angles to look at life, and frankly, our lives being so much more rich. And so my wish to you guys is for you all having a rich lives and a rich
life.
new year 2022, with learnings, with abundance of surprises and magic and, growth and development and all that really matters to you in life. So let's allow this year to be, who knows, maybe the best and the richest year we ever had. How about you, Lynn? What would you like to wish all guys?
I wish the exact same thing, that we start to look about who we are, what we really like, what we don't like, and not make it right, wrong, good or bad. Just it is what it is. And what do I want this year? Maybe what do I want to wake up? What do I want this day? And then see if we can make it happen. See if we can choose that throughout our day. We can choose to go on the balcony before we blow up rather than afterwards. We can choose to go for a walk with our favorite dog or whatever. So yes, choose. This is a new year. It's a great kind of structure that we get to practice. And each day, what would I like to do? Something new, something a little different. You drive one way, drive a different way. Just have fun. And you'll end up learning what you like and what you don't like. And that's a lot of fun.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Thank you so much, Lynn, for your time, for your love, for your beauty and light that you shine to us and to the world. And of course, I wish you absolutely happy birthday.
Thank you. Thank you.
And with this wish, of course, I wish you to, in great health and really with all the blessings that God can give you. I wish this light to be shining with us and for us and inside your heart for many, many, many years to come.
Yes, yes. Here on earth. And if anybody would like to come, just go to Facebook and look up Linda Qbq Russell, and you'll find me and ask to be my friend. And there's the invitation right there.
We would
thank you so much, Lucia. Really appreciate it. And my best to your husband and your two little girls, and to your dad.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Lynn. All the blessings and Happy New Year to us. Happy New Year, guys. Have a wonderful, wonderful year.